Sentire Media.
All right, thank you so much. You downloaded the podcast from Italy the end of September. It has come and gone very quickly. I'm Jason. That's Ashley to my left.
Ciao.
Together we own, operate, and live at and are sitting in La Tavola Marche and Agriturismo in the middle of nowhere, Italy.
That is right.
All right, we're going to start off. It's been a month. The weather, the air has changed. Autumn is here.
It has changed completely. Summer was long and hot and nearly 100, it felt like, every day. And like a flip of the switch, we had some wet, cool weather, and fall has arrived. Both outside and in. The air has changed. The wood has been delivered.
The mushroom hunters are here. Truffle season starts tomorrow. Every morning we're awoken to a mass parade of cars. There's 8 cars.
It's traffico intenso for our road.
But every morning at 7 o'clock here they come down the road. I try to get out before them with the dogs. However, it is pretty dark still up until about 7 a.m. So we can leave 10 minutes early and get out, but it's hard when you're trying to find somewhere in the valley where there's not people screaming at each other about.
Well, this weather's been ideal because we had the rain, and then normally 10 days after the rain comes the mushrooms. And these guys there's been mushrooms everywhere.
Yeah, they're growing they're growing in our front yard. They're growing on the driveway. They're growing. Not all of them are good to eat, but they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So not only then hunting season has begun for the passing birds. So we've got those hunters, we've got the mushroom hunters, and then like Jason said, tomorrow starts the white truffle hunters. So more dogs in our valley. It's crazy. And talk about a difference a year makes. Last year was like an Indian summer. We never had the really weather change until into November. We still had tomatoes. There wasn't the cold nights or the dew in the morning or anything like that, was it?
No, totally different. Our tomatoes have been done for 10 days now. The plants are dead. The tomatoes aren't ripening. It's over. Last year I think I have to check my garden journal, but I think it was like the first week of November there were still tomatoes.
Absolutely.
I definitely remember picking tomatoes for the last cooking class.
Yeah, and they picked a ton for us because they said we were so over it, and they were like, "We can't just leave them on the vine. We'll go and get them." And it was like they brought up crates of them. We were just like, "Oh my gosh!" I know, it's totally different. Also, since we're doing some of the garden stuff up around the house, this year something different that we did was put the winter vegetables in boxes, and that is yielding a not so bountiful. I don't know. We'll see how the fruit really comes, but Jason was noticing the stalks and things. It's not as bushy. What would you call it?
The cabbage,
Hardy.
The cabbages, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Normally we hoe them up around the base of the plant, so it makes the plant have more stability in the weather, and it makes the stalks a little beefier. It seems like we don't have any room to hoe them up in the boxes, so they just kind of blew over. I mean, they were covered, but we had a rainstorm and some wind, and they just blew on over, totally toppled over. And I kind of picked them back up and kind of patted the earth around them. But I think we need to put a stake in the ground. Whereas in the garden, you didn't need to do that because we would hoe them up once or twice, and there's a big mound around them.
Well, and you could tell the difference of just the stalk of the broccoli, for example, normally starts to become massive, and these are just, I don't know, a fraction of that width, yeah? Well, the tomatoes up around the house are pretty much done, and we've got a few peppers left. The jalapenos are still coming, and Jason smoked them. Do you want to talk about that? Tried something different?
We tried to make chipotle peppers, which are just ripe jalapenos that are smoked and dried. And we did it. I did it. Woo!
But it took forever.
It took forever. Because I only have a cold smoker, so I cold smoked them and dried them in a dehydrator. It's not a dehydrator. It's just a vegetable dehydrator.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's just got a fan and a little
Yeah,
heater.
it's like a dryer.
It took like 2 weeks to dry out these
forever.
stupid peppers. But we got 2 big 2 big plastic bags of them, and we'll make something over the winter.
I know. I'm excited. What else has been going on in September? We had the big festival of the Club de Brutti and took the guests. It was scandalous because this year they changed the dates on the last second, and it has historically been the first weekend of September, and this year they switched to the second, and no one was happy. I was just about to. So the Festival of the Club de Brutti is the festival of the Ugly Club, and Piobbico is known as the town of the ugly club, or the ugly people. And Italians will always ask, "Oh, Piobbico, oh, Paese di Brutti." And it's not so much they're really saying that we're ugly, they just have heard of the ugly club. And this is an international club in our teeny tiny town that started in 1879. And it started originally as a matchmaking marriage service, which is just kind of wild. And then in the early around the war, they started to change it up a little bit and make it not a wedding marriage matchmaking service, but more of just a fun way to celebrate the beauty in the ugly. Since everything in Italy is all about how beautiful it is, it's sometimes also the inner beauty is what counts. So it was fun to take the guests to that festival and get them all inducted into the club, which means that you stand in front of one of the representatives, or sometimes the presidente himself, and he'll stand there and judge your beauty and fill out a little card. Sometimes you're insufficient, sometimes mediocre, and sometimes extraordinary. So it all depends on the person and the day, but the guests had a blast. It's always, you got to have a sense of humor, but it was so much fun, and definitely for the guests, a great little glimpse into life in teeny tiny Piobbico, because it was popping at this festival, but just all locals. The guests who I were with kept asking me, "How many people do you think you know here?" And I was like, quite a few. This is almost all Piobbicense, and then from the nearby surrounding towns. So that was a blast. And the next one coming up, because 'tis the season now for the truffle festivals, it kicks off this next weekend coming up, the first weekend of October in Apecchio. And so that'll be another fun one to take the guests to. And Apecchio's our just little neighboring town over. And once that one kicks off, then each weekend in Sant'Angelo and Vado throughout October, and then towards the end of October and into November, every weekend in Aquilania for the big National White Truffle Festival. So it is a busy month ahead with all of that. But in between festivals, the other work we have to get done is all of the prep for winter, and we got the wood delivered. So how much wood did we get this year? We got
42 quintali. No one's going to know. I don't know what the conversion is in cord.
True. Sorry about that.
Matter.
Well, we got
big pile of wood.
A good pile of wood. So now that starts to be on the everyday list of work to get done. Jason got the stufa, the little potbelly stove, set up in our place.
Yeah, it's time to turn the heating system on and switch over from summer to winter for all that stuff. No more need for solar panels to heat water because switch it all. So all those little things to do. Put away. The pool's closed. All that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it kind of all got done earlier than normal this year. It's not even October.
Nope. Still waiting though to hopefully be able to turn the soil and get the manure on there.
Yeah, sure.
Someday. Now we're just waiting again for guests to be gone or the weather to get cold enough that you wouldn't smell it. So I think we'll wait probably till November and then hopefully get it turned over. But soon I saw the crocuses are starting. The saffron is starting to come up, and the September rain hopefully was just what it needed to soak in for the other 1,000 bulbs Jason planted. So we'll see how this year's production is. And what else? Anything else going on?
Not from my end as far as that. No, it's cleaning up, picking up, and switching gears to winter stuff.
I know. We've been busy with the guests, and this is the time of the year where it's Thursday to Sunday or Wednesday to Sunday each and every week with guests. So we don't have a whole lot going on other than that. If you guys have any questions for the next podcast, since obviously we are super busy and not able to do a whole lot other than working with the guests, shoot me an email, Ashley@LaTavlaMarque, or go ahead and send a message on Instagram, Facebook, any of that. And keep following us for the adventures and to see what's going on here at the farmhouse. And we'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.
Sentire Media.